people are freaking out because I think it's the way you said something and that I don't agree with, and which is, if you see a clear sun, you know, circling around, and we know, and it wasn't faked, you made it sound like you're going to say the Earth is a globe.
I'm going to say that the Earth cannot be flat. I'm going to say that the Earth cannot be flat.
I'm going to say that the Earth cannot be flat.
What's up, guys? Jake here, and today I am going to be taking it back to where it all began, the flat Earth topic. That's right, my very first video I ever made back in 2016. Wow, time flies. It was called Flat Earth Popular Questions. I had no idea I was going to become a professional YouTuber, but here I am. The year is now 2024, so people are now asking, well, what is your current stance with the flat Earth? So I am going to dedicate this video into catching everyone up and letting everyone know my current stance with the flat Earth topic. So first off, I am not a globe believer. I do not believe in the globe model at all. I do not believe in the concept of outer space. I do not believe in the concept of an infinite space vacuum. I do not believe in space missions. I do not believe in any sort of space exploration done by any sort of government. And yes, that does include SpaceX, Blue Origin, and etc. I don't believe in a globe because it is provably wrong. I don't believe in an AE map with a singular circling sun and a singular circling moon because it is provably wrong. I believe in what we can prove. I believe in what I see. And what I see is a sun that rises from the horizon. I see a sun that sets back into the horizon. One of the biggest lies ever told on the flat Earth is that the sun isn't setting, it just appears that way because it's moving away from you. And the sun isn't really rising, it just appears that way because of perspective. It's actually just coming at you. And the whole thing is just perspective.
That goes along with perspective showing a sun level of, across the level Earth going away.
The reason why this is one of the biggest lies ever told on the flat Earth is because we don't see the sun get smaller and smaller and smaller and shrink into a dot. That only exists on that one YouTube video. If you go watch the sun set in person, you will see it get big and orange and then merge into the horizon. So this notion that these street lights are all at the same distance above the Earth and they only appear to be merging into the horizon due to perspective, yeah, that is correct. But that's not the same thing that's happening with the sun. As you can clearly see, those street lights appear to be getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it shrinks into a tiny little dot. Look at the first street light and how big it appears, and then look at the last street light near the horizon. Yeah, that's not happening with the sun. So what they want you to do is disregard what you are actually experiencing, what you actually see with your own two eyes, and instead they want you to accept this lie that the sun only appears to be rising due to perspective, and it only appears to be setting due to perspective. Yeah, I'm gonna prove in this video the sun is rising and it is setting, and it's not just due to perspective.
Earth
is a level, motionless plane with the sun, moon, and stars revolving over and around us, just as you experience every day. It is obvious to any child and sovereign-minded adult that the sun, moon, stars, and planets, every light in the sky above, revolves around the motionless earth beneath our feet.
Wrong! Not only is this provably wrong disinformation, but these lies have been being pushed by liars like Eric Dubay, David Weiss, Jeranism, Mark Sargent, you name it, the list goes on and on. This is provably wrong disinformation that has been being pushed for a decade. One circling sun and one circling moon over the AE map is impossible, and I'm going to prove it to you. And once I prove it to you, then the notion of the sun rising and setting on a flat earth might not seem so crazy. Every year, there are two equinoxes, one that occurs around March 20th, the spring equinox, and the other which occurs around September 22nd, the autumn equinox. Now, on the equinoxes, that means every single person on the flat earth is going to get about 12 hours of sunlight and 12 hours of darkness. Not only that, everyone on the flat earth is going to see a 90-degree east sunrise and a 270 west sunset. Now, you can't just spin one sun around the AE map like a flashlight and light up a circle portion of the earth. That's not going to do the trick. You actually have to light up half of the earth. That way you can get 12 hours of light, 12 hours of darkness. Now, here's the impossible part. The sun has to be on the equator, as it's shown, but every single observer on the flat earth is going to see a 90-degree east sunrise and a 270 west sunset, which is impossible with one circling sun. I'll let Q and Fee model it up and explain it all.
Every light in the sky above revolves around the motionless earth beneath our feet.
Circling around, you say? I think your head is circling around. This is not really a match with your presentation. So this must go around with 15 degrees an hour. I think you're a lunatic. And it happens to be the equinox. And guess what? Here is the sun setting. And on this side the sun is rising. 90 degrees east. And set 270 degrees west. Rises with an angle of about 90 degrees east on the same moment over a full longitude. It seems we have more than 190 degrees east direction. You see that? And here at the 160 degrees west, we have the sunset, all about 270 degrees west at the same moment. You want to explain this away with perspective, like those other retard earthers do.
Q and Fee is 100% correct. What you see here cannot be explained away by perspective. With one circling sun on the equator, it is impossible for every observer on that same line of longitude to see a 90-degree east sunrise and a 270-degree west sunset. Q and Fee modeled this up perfectly, and anyone with a working brain should be able to see that by Q and Fee modeling up how it's physically impossible for one circling sun to be in all those locations at once, that should prove to you or anyone watching that a single circling sun over an AE map is impossible. As you can see by this example modeled up by Q and Phi, every observer on this line of longitude is going to be seeing the sun rise at the same moment from the same angle. And then over on the other side of the Earth, on that same line of longitude, these three observers are going to be seeing the sun set at the exact same moment. But wait, that's not all. You see this guy over here standing on the equator? He's gonna look straight up and see the sun right over his head in that exact same moment. So how can you have 7 different observers seeing the sun in 7 different locations at the exact same time? Does that mean there are 7 suns? No. What's happening is that each observer sees their own sun, and each observer only sees one sun. So basically, we are all seeing our own sun. So what does that mean? It means the sun is rising, it is setting, and we are all seeing our own independent local sun. And the angles at which we all see our own independent local sun, they don't triangulate back to one singular circling sun.
The apparent motion of the sun is not uniform. For this reason, it would be difficult to construct a clock capable of keeping this irregular time. Therefore, a mean or imaginary sun is used. This mean sun is assumed to have a uniform rate of motion with respect to the Earth. The time measured by the mean or imaginary sun is called mean or civil time, and uses a mean or imaginary sun as its reference point.
So in order for celestial navigation to work, a mean sun or virtual sun is used, and the reason is because the actual observation angles to the sun are irregular, and they don't triangulate back to one singular sun. So the fact that the angles at which we all see the sun are irregular, they don't use the actual position of the actual sun for celestial navigation. They use a virtual sun, as in a not real sun. Once I found this out, then it made perfect sense why a singular circling sun over an AE map doesn't work at all. That's because it's the imaginary sun, the mean sun, the virtual sun. That's why none of the sunrise and sunset angles match. That's why it fails so miserably. So what's happening is guys like Eric Dubay, David Weiss, Jeranism, Mark Sargent, they're all using the virtual and/or mean sun, which has to go around in 24 hours. This is a virtual sun, which means it's not real. And so when you take the actual observation data of the real sun, it doesn't match the circling path over the AE map. Do we understand ourselves? I hope so. So what does all that mean? Well, that means we live in some sort of a hyper-realistic simulation of sorts, perhaps a virtual reality. Well, if you don't like either of those explanations, for lack of a better explanation, this place is a magical, mystical realm. that defies explanation. So the notion of one singular circling sun is impossible. And the fact that we are all seeing our own local sun rise and set is a reality. So rather than make excuses and deny reality, I'm going to accept that this is indeed reality, what we are seeing and experiencing.
People are freaking out because I think it's the way you said something and that I don't agree with, and which is, if you see a clear sun, circling around, and we know, and it wasn't faked, you made it sound like you're going to say the Earth is a globe.
I'm going to say that the Earth cannot be flat.
And that brings us back to these two scumbags, Jeranism and David Weiss. So in this clip, Dave Weiss is calling into Jeranism's show, and they're both pretending to have a bit of an argument over whether or not the final experiment will falsify the flat Earth model if they see a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. And so Jeran is supposed to go to Antarctica for Will Duffy's final experiment, and if he sees a 24-hour circling sun in Antarctica, he's going to come back and say that the Earth cannot be flat. His words. Now, Dave Weiss is going to say that that wouldn't falsify the flat Earth model, but it would falsify their sky model. Now, I want to point out that Jeran and Dave Weiss have been pushing an incorrect, debunked, falsified sky model for like a decade, basically. And the circling sun was debunked by me back in 2017, and Q and Fee even before that, I think back in 2016. And so not only have flat earthers debunked this one circling sun nonsense, but a bunch of globe earthers have too. So the fact that Jeran and Dave Weiss and Eric Dubay and plenty of other fake flat earthers have made excuses for nearly a decade every time the circling sun got debunked. But now they're going to pretend like if Will Duffy has this experiment where they see a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, well, then that falsifies the whole flat Earth model. No, it doesn't mean that the Earth is a globe, but it does falsify that circling sun. Absolutely. You can't have a circling sun over the AE map and have a circling sun going the opposite direction in Antarctica in December. That's impossible. So yes, it proves Eric Dubay wrong, it proves Jeran wrong, and it proves David Weiss wrong, it proves Mark Sargent wrong, Witsit Gets It wrong, Flat Earth Banjo wrong, D Marble, Bob Nodell. Yeah, all those guys who ever pushed a circling sun, yeah, those guys are all gonna be proven wrong. All of them. You know who won't be proven wrong? Me! Because I stopped using the circling sun back in 2017 after I proved it wrong. It won't prove Q and Fee wrong because he doesn't use a circling sun either. So, I don't believe in a globe. I believe that the horizon is horizontal. I don't know what this realm is. I don't know what shape the Earth is. I couldn't tell you that. But what I can tell you is seeing the sun do a 360 in Antarctica does not mean that the Earth is a globe. It does not prove the Earth is flat or not flat. What it does do is prove one circling sun is incorrect. So, all the stuff that Eric Dubay pushed for a decade, yeah, that will be proven wrong. But it already has been proven wrong. Jeran will be proven wrong, but he already has been proven wrong. David Weiss will be proven wrong. but he already has been proven wrong. So, Jaren is getting ready to flip to being a globe believer. And he's gonna wait until he sees a circling sun in Antarctica. And then he's gonna say that the Earth cannot be flat, so therefore it must be a globe. That is what is most likely is going to happen in late December. So I'm calling the whole thing out right now, and I'm saying I think they will see a circling sun in Antarctica, and my model that I just made up calls for it. And I'm going to make up an alternate model that doesn't call for it. That way I'm covered on both sides. I think I might make up, 10, 20 different models, just to throw some monkey wrenches into the mix, 'cause why not? I can prove Jaren wrong, I can prove Will Duffy wrong, I can throw monkey wrenches into their whole charade by just creating some new theoretical models. There's no rule that says I can't do that, so I just did. So guess what? The final experiment, falsified. And also, the circling sun business over the AE map, that was already debunked years ago. No need to even go to Antarctica, fellas. We can falsify it much sooner because guess what? The equinox is right around the corner. Yeah, the next equinox in late September will prove me right, prove Q and Fee right. It'll prove all those shillbags wrong, and it'll take the piss out of Will Duffy and his supposed final experiment. This has been the Flat Earth Asshole. I'm still standing here.